it's amazing to see the Trump effect in action. Yesterday we saw the wonderful news about the first 3 hostages being returned to families in Israel. And now we've also heard from Russian President Vladimir Putin. He says that he's ready to discuss peace with Ukraine with President Trump. This is what he's had to say.
Open for dialogue with the new US administration on the Ukrainian conflict. The most important thing here is to eliminate the fundamental reason for the conflict. That's the most important. And as for settling the situation itself, its goal should be not a brief ceasefire, not just getting some time to regroup and rearm and carry on the conflict, but long-term peace.
Look, Donald Trump has made a pretty big promise vowing to end the war. What do you make of this message, though, from Putin?
Look, hard to say exactly what he has in mind here when he's talking for an off-ramp here, but I do think that Donald Trump is going to bring peace to that conflict and end to that conflict sooner rather than later. The problem with Joe Biden's approach to that conflict is that it never wavered from day one, is that his mantra was that you basically are just going to keep on sending endless sums of money to Ukraine in hopes that they will, essentially fight and die until the very last Ukrainian, until Vladimir Zelensky is able to recover every square inch of Ukrainian territory, including the Crimean Peninsula, the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine, you name it. The issue all along has been that from an American national security perspective, frankly, from an America First perspective there, I'm not entirely sure that that is the exact calculus. Does America truly have a compelling national interest concern in exactly how this border in eastern Ukraine is drawn, this border that has shifted lines hundreds, if not thousands of times over the centuries, these towns that are oftentimes 50-50 split, linguistic, cultural, Russians and Ukrainians there? I'll be honest with you, Gabrielle, I have said since day one that I actually don't feel super strongly exactly how that line is divided. I suspect that Donald Trump feels quite similarly. The American taxpayer has been on the hook tremendously. All while along, we have been at risk of fomenting a potentially disastrous conflict. The Russian Federation has had for many decades now, and still to this day has, the world's largest nuclear arsenal. That's a big deal. So Vladimir Putin is now signaling that he sees Trump, he sees someone who is not necessarily quote unquote pro-Russia. That's the whole Russia collusion delusion nonsense from the 2016 election. But Donald Trump is a practical, sober, hard-headed realist. He sees someone that he can probably make a deal with there. That is a huge deal. Now, look, Trump has said in the past, give me one day with Putin and Zelensky, I'll get you a deal there. I'm not sure he'll get it done in one day. That strikes me as kind of quintessential Trumpian braggadocio. But, maybe it's not one day, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, whatever. I do think it's going to get done sooner rather than later there. And what a tremendous sea change that would be in that part of the world.
Yeah, and I just think, you hear comments like that and you see that global leaders look at Donald Trump, a bit scared of him. Donald Trump warned Hamas that there would be all hell to pay, and then all of a sudden a deal is signed. Look, I do want to talk to you about what is going on in DC today, this historic day, and I want to talk to you about Barron Trump, because there are already articles that he was the one that stole the show. Barron Trump caused a bit of a frenzy at the Capital One Arena, with the crowd chanting his name as he took to the stage to sit with his family. The younger son of Donald Trump, who towers over his parents at more than 2 meters tall, appeared a bit surprised by the crowd's reaction when he made the appearance, but there's already talk that Barron could be following in his father's footsteps one day. What do you think?
I think I've heard many crazier ideas, frankly. Apparently, Barron Trump has actually been quite involved in the transition team over the course of the past few months there. He was pretty involved on the campaign itself, the Trump campaign, if I'm not mistaken there. Look, he's tall, he's handsome, he's apparently very smart, he's astute. He's also 18 years old. I believe he's starting his freshman year of college, or he's in his freshman year now. Give the kid some time. Let's let him try to at least have something remotely resembling a normal young adult life before we're trying to thrust him into the public limelight. But if he wants to have a political career, I think that he certainly has all the chips lined up for it there. Whether it's him, whether it's Donald Trump Jr., whether it's Lara Trump, there are a lot of members of the Trump family that after Donald Trump Sr. inevitably rides off into the sunset at some point, there are a lot of members of the Trump family who I think potentially stand fit to kind of carry on that legacy. Maybe Ivanka Trump. I don't think she wants it, to be honest with you there. But we could do a heck of a lot worse than Barron Trump, because, again, he really has, by all accounts, had his hand involved in a lot of things, very much including Bitcoin Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, just generally trying to kind of bring the Trump campaign to Gen Z, whether when it comes to social media, things like that there. So he's done very, very good work so far. Again, very tall, good looking, mature looking young guy. Let's give him some years there, but it would not shock me if he runs for office sometime down the road.
Yeah, watch this space. Now, Donald Trump has brought plenty of energy to DC and he's made the village people cool again. Here are the original singers of YMCA on stage performing with President Trump.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Fun to stay at the YMCA.
It's the weekend to bust out the Trump moves. Have you been doing it?
You know, Gabrielle, the funny thing about Trump is that he's become cool. I mean, he's become a cultural icon. MAGA has become the new cool. I mean, Carrie Underwood singing America the Beautiful at the inauguration here. At the executive ball in Washington, D.C., you had not just Jason Aldean, the country music star, but you also had Nelly, the former rapper there. I mean, go back to the first time around, whether it was Kanye West, Lil Wayne, there were a bunch of rappers last time there. I mean, here when it comes to American football, we're in the middle of the playoffs now. It feels like every other game there's someone doing the Trump dance in the end zone after getting a touchdown there. I mean, this has become the new cool. It's funny how that worked because Barack Obama kind of put in this era where the Democratic Party was the party of cool and hip, and all the young people, the college students there, they were out there for hope and change, and Barack Obama and all that there. But after 16 years, and 12 of those years being the failures of Barack Obama and Joe Biden and the broader Obama-Biden legacy, you know, Trump is the new cool. MAGA is the new cool. MAGA is the new countercultural. It's really quite wild. It's only happened, Gabrielle, I think, over the last maybe year and a half, 2 years at the most. It's a fairly recent thing. I suspect that many of the Democrats' gambits, including the unprecedented lawfare against Donald Trump, have backfired so much in their face that not only is Donald Trump president, but at this point, he is a bona fide cultural icon as well.
He absolutely is. And I'll tell you who's not an icon, Joe Biden. Let's look at this final grab of him. We're not going to be doing this for much longer because we're not going to be getting these cringe grabs to play for you. But here he is looking lost as he ends his presidency.
Thank you. Can I go up this way?
You know, of course, that's how he ends his presidency. Has no clue where he is, which way to go, how to walk off the stage. It's so embarrassing. Thank God this Biden administration is over.
Yeah, I think if you had to encapsulate the Biden presidency in one video, that's a pretty good video to use. I mean, this doddering old man who probably doesn't even know what day of the week it is, beyond the fact that it ends in the letter Y. I mean, he stares at the camera and says, which way do I go? I mean, proverbially speaking, he's been asking which way do I go since he got into power there, because in retrospect, and now funny how that works, the mainstream media here, the Wall Street Journal had a very, very lengthy tell-all piece. Now we know that basically since Joe Biden came into power in the year 2021, he has been losing his mental faculties. And this is now it's not even a secret. I mean, it's not even an open secret at this point. It's just out there. It's just out there. Everyone knows. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, just a few days ago was chatting with Barry Weiss in DC before the inauguration. And Mike Johnson was describing this meeting that he had with Joe Biden at the White House, where he asked Joe Biden why he signed into an executive order a ban on exporting LNG, liquefied natural gas, to Europe. And Biden apparently paused and stared and was like, what did I sign? Like he actually did not know what was in this very important thing that he signed there. So, I mean, look, he has been out of it for basically his entire presidency. To the extent that he has been in it, he has been a venal, corrupt, cynical, self-dealing, and just generally completely incompetent and feckless president. Easily one of the 5 worst presidents in American history there.
Absolutely.
And cherry on top, Gabrielle, the final thing I'll say, he could have done a small, tiny thing at the very end to mitigate the damage a little bit if he had just dropped out of the race sooner. But no, he made us all wait until the infamous June 27th CNN debate this past summer there, where the whole world saw that this charade was up, the game was over, and that Joe Biden was really out to lunch. He didn't go out with any dignity. He didn't go out with any class there. And again, history is going to remember him very, very poorly because of it.
Absolutely. Senior Editor at Large at Newsweek, Josh Hammer, so good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us on Power Hour.
Thank you so much, Gabriel.